Welcome to Crafty Little Beach. This is Julie. Today I have a Dollar Tree DIY for you. I wanted to make a honey pot lantern. For the jar, I'm just using one of these square glass containers. I thought this would work well. I know square is not necessarily something you would think of for a jar, but I think it's going to make it a little bit easier to decorate it and stuff like that because it won't be completely round. And I'm just going to give it a quick cleaning to make sure the inside and the outside are both clean. I want to dye it so that you'll be able to see light through it, but I want it to look like it has honey inside the jar. To do that, I'm just using some Mod Podge here in a cup, and I'm going to just start adding some food coloring. I have some food coloring that I picked up at the Dollar Tree that I just use for crafting. It's very expired, but hey, it still works. And I'm just going to start adding yellow to the Mod Podge. I wasn't really getting where I wanted to with the yellow. It wasn't quite that golden honey color. So I do go in and add a little bit of red as well to kind of get more of a golden feel. But I don't want to add very much of that because a little goes a long way. So a couple drops of red. And as you see, you'll get like an orange color. I don't really necessarily want it to be orange. I do want it to be golden. So I'm going to add more yellow. I do want it to be thick, so I'm not going to water this down at all because I want it to look like gloppy honey on the inside of the jar. I'm not going to be dripping any honey or anything on the outside of the jar, so I kind of want to get that look of the honey by the inside. So I want it to be nice and thick. So I pour what I have here in the bottom of this jar. The jar is pretty large. I'm just going to start working it around by spinning it around so it will kind of go up the sides. I want to fill up the entire jar with our faux honey. And again, I made it really thick on purpose to get that gloppy texture. So it was a little bit of a challenge to get it to go all the way down to the rim, but I was able to do that. Just put down a paper towel because it definitely gets messy for this part. I was trying to make sure that I had everything covered. And I want to let it dry, but I also want it to kind of come back down inside the jar to make it look like a honey jar that has been used was what I was going for, since I'm not going to do any like drips of honey on the outside. If you wanted to do drips of honey on the outside, you could use some like yellow tinted hot glue for that, but I didn't have any in my stash. So we're going to make it work with just Mod Podge and a little bit of food coloring. I'm going to start its drying process like that. And then for the top of the lid, I'm going to use one of the Dollar Tree push lights. That way I can like unscrew the lid, push the light to turn it on, and I won't actually have anything in the jar, but it's going to light up the jar. For the lid, I just take it and I take some of the Dollar Tree Bee honeycomb fabric, and I'm going to cut a circle of fabric like you would see on the top of a jar if you've been canning, and I'm just going to cut out a circle. I thought I'd probably have a better chance of getting a good circle to fold the fabric in fourths to cut that out. And they have like a three, I think, different varieties of the honeycomb fabric. I always pick it up every year at Dollar Tree whenever I see it because it can be really fun for little projects like this. I want it to go around the round lid like this, and I can attach that with glue and a little twine to make it look cute, but nothing that's going to interfere with me taking the lid on and off to be able to turn the light on and off. I want to use this for my kitchen. I always like to have like a little light up decorative item on my kitchen that's seasonal. I think it's really cute. And if you want to go into the kitchen and the light's not on, it looks really good on the counter. For the twine, I probably should have left this step to last because depending on how you screw the lid on is where you're going to have it tied off. I end up moving it a little bit, but for now, I just put it on with a couple dots of hot glue, and I tie that around the outside edges of it to give that like ruffled look to it. And just tie it off with a simple knot, leaving a couple little strings on there. Nothing crazy. We are going to decorate the front of the honey jar lantern too, and I love how this project turned out. It was so much fun. This does have double-sided tape on the back of it, so I'm just going to peel and stick. As you can see, it fits just inside the lid with enough room to be able to screw it on, so that is helpful. Now this has lots of paint seeping out of it still, and it's super wet. I'm going to start the drying process, but I'm going to let it dry on its own. If I were to leave it upside down, I would get a very even coating of the tinted Mod Podge all over the sides. But again, I want it to look gloppy and I want it to like go down the sides of it a little bit. So I'm not going to wait for it to dry. I'm going to go ahead and start decorating this. I just use a black paint pen and I'm just going to simply spell out the word honey there on the front. Nothing crazy. And then I thought we could decorate it with some flowers and bees on the front. Those little wooden beads I picked up on Amazon the other day because I wasn't able to find any at Dollar Tree this year. And I have them linked in my Amazon shop as well. For the flowers, I wanted small white and yellow flowers, but I didn't have anything small enough. So I'm going to use these little white paper flower stickers from the Dollar Tree. And just using a paint pen, making that little pearl in the middle yellow, I thought it would give me that same effect. It's just kind of difficult not to get it on the flower itself. I was able to on these two. And they have double-sided tape on the back, so I'm just going to use that to stick that on there. The little bees have double-sided tape as well. At first, I added them like this. I did notice that a lot of them aren't going to stay with the double-sided tape on that glass jar, so I did go back and add some hot glue to them, at least the ones that were like directly on the glass like that. But I think 5 would look good here on the front of our honey jar. And as you can see, it's thick and gloppy in there, which is exactly what I wanted. I think it's going to give it a cool effect when I light it up. So I just popped the lid on. After turning it on, turn it on there, and this is how it turned out. Isn't that so cute? Let me give you a closer look. This is what it looks like during the day. So it looks like it's pretty full of honey during the day. It's kind of an illusion though, because the way that the gloppy Mod Podge inside dried, it makes it look like it's a honey jar that has been used a lot. So I will show you what it looks like lit up as well. Here it is, our little honey jar lantern. I think it turned out really cute. I love the gloppy honey effect by using that thick Mod Podge inside. And of course the cute little bees on there finish it off. This was such an easy DIY to make. I just had a vision of this in my head. I'm like, I bet I could make that work. I would really like to have like a little light up honey jar to go with my bee theme.